boys and girls, singers and singettes. It's another episode of Ryan Sings. Are you excited or what? I know I am. Today's episode is very important. Today's episode will feature no singing because, singing is important. But as we've gone over, you are the singer. You are the front person of the band. Okay. You lead the band. The band is at your whim, okay? If you want this band to take off, you have to take off, okay? And really, if you take off, then you can go with whoever. I mean, the people that play the music, anyone can do that. It takes real, just raw talent to be a good singer. I mean, you definitely got to put in years of work. You got to listen to all of Ryan Sings. You might even have to go beyond that and just take some good lessons. But, there's just a couple things. Really, if you want the band to take off, then you have to have a good cult of personality. You have to have a good, something that, will stand out and stick out. And we're going to go over that today because I feel like there's a lot of bands out there. They got cool names. They're marketable. And the singer is good. Now, the instruments might not be that good, but, you could always get big and hit the studio. And we're going to teach you how to do that today because, I want to see some of you singers and singettes get out there. So let's look at bands of previous eras, okay? Now, in the 80s, you had your hair metal. You had your Poison. My man, Bret Michaels. You had Def Leppard. You had Guns N' Roses, you had all those good hard rockers, and you know how they got big. It was basically their singers, and they had some good instruments here and there, but they also had a good cult of personality. So, and you look at all those bands, what did they have? They had great style. They had good leather pants. They had some good cowboy boots, some rockin' tattoos, very skinny, very frail. That's part of that. New York, French, avant-garde, sexy. So you got to get in that sort of shape. What I would suggest is maybe purging or going on an extreme diet, basically being malnourished. So that would be if you were to achieve that level of success in that era. So you would have to do something like that. So you don't have to do that now because in this era, there's so many large and small and, everywhere in between for the big bands. But anyway, my point is this. So when you're doing this sort of stuff, you got to think, what's the style of this era? So this era, we got a lot of hip-hop. We got, leather pants in this era is not going to go over too well, You might just have to say, maybe I'll get some pants, like some purple pants. I'll dye my hair blue, get a couple of tattoos, grow out a neck beard, get a nice long beard and manicure it. Get one of those awful haircuts. The one. Make it blue. Do stuff like that. So we're starting with style. You got to have that sort of style. You got to think, and it's based on your scene. So let's say if you're a pop singer, you would do that. But if you're a punk singer, you might, get a nice mullet or get a nice, you wouldn't go get a crew cut. You could maybe get a bowl cut and pass with that. But you know what I mean. You got to think about it yourself. Ryan, I can't tell you everything, okay? But you just got to think, how can I stick out for my style? You got to make sure you're going with what's popular. Don't try anything new. Don't be a revolutionary. That doesn't pay. Another very important part of developing a good cult of personality so you can take your band to the next level is having a good on air and off air. Basically, if you're in the public eye, you have to have your rock and roll personality turned on. Now, believe me, when I'm out rocking and rolling, I don't talk like this. I talk like this, okay? Because I'm the cream of the crop. I'm the rock and rollest mofo ho. Listen, okay? I'm a rock and roller till I die. And you understand when I tell you that I come up to the event in my motorcycle, it's an event and it's a sight to see. I just don't rock, I roll. I roll, then rock. You see, something like that. And when you might say, you might start off a show, hello, Cleveland, it is us, Blood Moon Wolf Tooth, here to rock you like a hurricane. You got to make sure that you have, it just wouldn't sound as entertaining if I said, "Hello, Cleveland. We are Blood Moon Wolftooth, and we're here to rock you like a hurricane." I mean, you be the judge, Which sounds more entertaining? Which one are you going to get more hype on? Which one sounds more like the alpha? Okay? I would definitely go ahead and say that the first one sounds more like the alpha. So let's say, you're going out and about. Let's say you're going out to order a cheeseburger. Okay, you can't go order a cheeseburger in your normal voice. You got to go out and order it. "Hello, it is I, Ryan from Blood Moon Wolftooth, and I am here to order a cheeseburger from my local McDonald's." Just something like that. That's something that you got to consider in all this, all right? There's more to personality than your style. If you look at any big, famous musician, they're always out there boning as many people as possible, and they're always doing as many drugs as possible. Red Hot Chili Peppers lead singer, Anthony Kiedis, one of my favorites, he did lots of heroin, and, people found that interesting. And that gives you also some creative perspective. So maybe if you're sitting there and you're not over the edge, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but look into, read some books about it or something. I don't know. Don't do heroin. So you want to make sure you have a lot of sex. You want to make sure that you are the alpha male of the band. You want to make sure that you're the alpha male of your scene, okay? Let's say you're going into a party and your drummer just scored some babe. Oh my goodness, this is a chick that's way out of his league, okay? He's just the drummer, okay? Yeah, he can play in 4/4 and 6/8 and all that. That's cool, but he doesn't go up there and lead the band and, interact with the crowd and get everyone hyped up and do good rock scat and all that. So you got to go over there and you got to look that chick square in the eye and say, "Baby, where are we going?" And you just got to let her know that it's happening with you tonight. You got to just steal your bandmate's woman because you are the alpha male of the band, and they need to make sure that they know, okay? That's just with the band. You have to assert dominance a lot of times. Like, let's say you're with an unruly crowd. You would have to just make sure that they know. You just have to say, "Hey, hey, hey! Y'all ready to rock tonight?" Someone starts, that'd be a good example if someone starts getting rowdy in the crowd. Just, "Hey, hey, hey!" Something like that. And then you got to make sure that you have a good publicity stunt. Something that gets you in the limelight. Let's say you're a rockin' band and you're getting some good press. You got a big battle of the bands coming out tonight. Or you got to, maybe on the weekend. So what do? You maybe get drunk, you maybe go to a couple bars and maybe do some, maybe get butt naked and just run around and start, flinging the pecker around or whatever. Something, not menacingly, just to get some good attention, get some good press. Maybe don't do it in the bar. Maybe what you could do is, if you want to be ultra rock and roll, you get butt naked and you go piss on a cop car or something like that. Now that would get you some good publicity, Make sure you take one of your friends down there to get a picture, post it in your local Facebook group, and get everyone excited about your Battle of the Bands. Say, "Come on out tonight and support me before I get caught for peeing on the cop car." Stuff like that. You just got to make sure that you get. That would be one example. I still think that. Or maybe you could take a shit and put it in a bag and, do the old classic burn it and do it with human feces and then put it on the mayor's doorstep, burn it or something. I don't know. See what happens. But you could always go the G.G. Allen route too. Not full G.G., but you could shit on stage and, just really express yourself through rock and roll and feces and pee-pee and all that. Not full G.G. Allen. Just don't go full G.G. Allen. And that's just a couple things, okay? That's just what I'm thinking of right now. But really a big important thing with singers that I also want to talk about is, let's say you've done all that. You've done the publicity. You went in butt naked and you shit on the cop car, pissed on it too. You got a good style. You've been having lots of sex. You've been stealing everyone's girl. Everyone around town knows you're top dog. You're partying like an animal. But what you got to make sure what you do is you got to make sure you assert dominance in the studio, okay? So let's say you've done all the steps. You've done the publicity. You've done the sex. You've got your style, and your songs are pretty good. So you got the record contract, and you're in the studio. Now this is the point where you make sure the engineer, the studio, knows that you are the top dog. So the engineer comes in. He's got a nice setup for the room. He has the drums in one room. He has you in another room. And he's already got them all figured out and stuff. You tell him, I don't want to be in this room. I want to be in that room. He says, why is that? And you tell him, make up an excuse. Tell him you can't see the band as well, even if you can see the band. You got to make sure. It's like a prison yard. You have to make sure that you are top dog. So anything that he gives you, you second guess. You question it. He says, well, why don't we turn down the drums? Say, why don't we turn up the drums? He says, why don't we turn down the bass? Say, turn up the bass. And if he dares to turn down your vocals, make sure that your vocals are blasting through. Like, your vocals should be the focal point of the music. You should really be searching to listen behind that. The vocals should be the guiding force, the guiding light of the song. That's what you need to tell him. And if he gives you any muck about instrumentation and, song direction, if any of the bandmates give that sort of crap, you walk out, you storm out, and you make sure that they know that you are the leader. You run the show. You're top dog. You're the alpha. Well, I think we went over a lot today, and I think that we could gain a lot from another Ryan Sings, but this one is a particular useful one without singing. So that's it. Why don't you have a rockin' weekend, a rockin' Friday, a rockin' Saturday, and a rock and roll Sunday. Lose your voice in such a majestic thing.